Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Row here with another Options and Play video update. We had a huge week of earnings. Lot of good numbers, not so many good reactions, right? And that we're all kind of in the same boat. Some of the quarters were excellent. Some of the stock reactions to those quarters were not excellent. And last week's video, I said it to start the video, and I'm gonna say it again to start this video. I will pay them. I will play them if they pay them. That's been my motto coming into the quarter. If they reward options, then I will play more options on earnings. If they're not rewarding options, then I'm not going to be playing as many options on earnings. There's different ways you can participate with earnings as the catalyst without taking the risk into the print, right? Ramp into the report, sympathy trades, and then post earnings swing trades. But in terms of taking the actual options into earnings, well, then I really want to see options get paid, right? So that's the main thing. And as we head into this upcoming week, it's going to be another jam-packed week of earnings. Still the same plan. If they're pay them, then I'll play them. All right. Monday before the open, Estee Lauder, big beauty name, big retail name. Start the week, priced in about 19 points. Those are monthly options, though. Been such a steady performer. I mean, really just excellent action over the last few months. So to me, it's kind of hard to tell whether there's a trade here or if it's just kind of like a wait until after earnings for a swing trade, because it is up a lot since it last reported, and it's going into earnings right at a 52-week high, which has not been a great recipe. So I think swing trade might be a better plan, honestly, but it acts great overall. After the close on Monday, iRobot. So about 12 points is what's expected here. This was caught up in that January squeeze. Obviously, like a lot of the other names, off the high, it's been kind of quiet. It does have a history of pretty big moves around earnings, though, and it looks like it should be due for an earnings move. But the option pricing, definitely on the higher end. I'm on the fence with it, but if you can get risk down, there might be some potential for a volatility strategy on that one. Solar Edge. So about 38 points is what's expected on this. Those are monthly options. Solar names, they did not have a particularly good week. End phase, not good. First Solar, not good. So this is going to be an opportunity to get back on track. Occasionally, you'll see a big move around earnings, but I might just view this more as like a barometer just to see if Solars get back on track. And I mean, there's other names that I prefer to trade more than this one. For the open on Tuesday, CVS, so about 275 is what they're expecting here. This one's interesting if numbers are good, because the stock is hanging right under a big yearly resistance level, right? So you can see when I scroll out how big this is. So I feel like if the numbers are good and it can clear 77 with volume, it could really have some room to the upside. Plus, they're coming off a solid quarter in February. Managed care names like UNH and Humana are acting great. Walgreens is acting well. So maybe something on the speculative side, but thinking bullish on it. Pfizer, about $1.40 is what's priced in here. It's been a little bit better since April, but big pharma not had a great reporting quarter. Moderna reports later in the week, actually too, and that to me probably will be more of a mover than Pfizer. I'm not sure if it's going to be volatile one way or the other, so I don't think I'm going to do anything with it. Under Armour, about 2.5 points is what's expected here. Had another strong quarter in February. Stock's hung in great, right? It's 52-week high. I mean, technically, there's still room into the 2019 gap here. But again, stock that's at its 52-week high, that's up quite a bit. Expectations are higher. It hasn't been the best recipe, but I mean, there's still that room into the gap. So maybe if numbers are good, kind of keeps this momentum going. Tuesday after the bell, Activision. So about about 550 is what's priced in on this. I haven't been focused on the gaming stocks much recently, but Activision is interesting because it's the first of the group, right? So uncertainty higher, technically volatility might be higher too. It had a huge pop last quarter. That was this. Gave it all back, sitting kind of in like a lower range. I guess I would view it more bullishly after that move, after last quarter, but I also don't think I'd be expecting something as big as it moved last quarter either. But again, because it's the first report and actually EA and Take-Two don't report next week, there might be sympathy plays on those two. Arista. So about 26 to 27 points was expected here. Had a strong quarter in February, but it was kind of bad timing because it was right when the overall market was selling. So big reversal, right back up there. What's interesting about Arista is when I scroll out, you can see it, that it's right at its like multi-year high, and coming off a couple good quarters in a row. So I feel like if they can really deliver, this stock seems to me has like some breakout potential. But I mean, option pricing's high. It's up quite a bit, so something more on the speculative side. Exact Sciences. So about 10.5 points is what they're expecting here. This should be more of an interesting quarter because they haven't guided early like they did in January. Historically, pretty big mover around earnings, and it seems like it could be again this week. Option pricing is not cheap compared to what it's moved in the past, though. So I feel like any volatility strategy that you look at would probably revolve around getting the risk down a bit. Lyft. So about 5.5 points is what's priced in on this. This and Uber both report next week. This is the first. They both got hit real hard on Thursday. That was when they lost these higher levels. So the charts have gotten worse. I thought Lyft was set up pretty well prior to that. It was in a higher range. It was just underneath like a big area. Um, Now that it's down here, I mean, it's got a lot of work to do just to like repair itself. So I think I might just leave it alone, see how the stock reacts like post earnings. Um, Melly, not going to be a trade for me. It's a great trendy name, but not so much of an earnings play the past couple of quarters. Option spreads can be so wide on it too, and there's not a lot of volume, so it doesn't really work for like option trades. Match. So about 12 points is what's priced in here. Missed and actually had weaker guidance last quarter, but stock is back up. It's not at its high, but it's not too far off from it. So, you know, after last quarter, might be slightly more bearish on this one going into earnings, especially because there's been a lot of sell the news in the social media area this quarter. Upwork. So about 8 points is what's priced in here. Those are monthly options. This and Fiverr both report next week, and this wouldn't surprise me to maybe make a run ahead of time. Coming off two solid quarters in a row, stock has been sideways for a couple months. We'll have to see where it is the day of earnings to kind of determine if there's still a trade remaining. Space, they're priced in at 2.5 points. They don't have any earnings. They don't have any revenues. So I don't know. It doesn't make sense to play it for an earnings trade if there's no earnings or revenues to speak of. Zillow, about 14.5 points is what they're pricing in here. I'm surprised this isn't acting better. They've crushed it a couple quarters in a row. Stock is way off its high. Seems like there should be some momentum into this print, but maybe the iBuy, maybe that's expected to be lumpy, so that's keeping a lid on it. I don't know. I guess I view it more bullishly though, and I think there's upside potential. But maybe the time frame needs to be adjusted out because for some reason it's really not acting great. But I do think if the numbers are good and can start to turn the corner, this could be like kind of like a sustained runner. So maybe like a longer term idea. Wednesday before the open, GM. So about 325 is what's priced in here. Ford just had a surprisingly weak guide because of the chip shortages, and that dragged GM down, but it did hold 50-day perfectly. I mean, imagine that the GM's numbers aren't going to be too off from Ford, but the chart looks better than Ford, and maybe if they aren't as bad, then they're maybe a little bit better. It could be set up for kind of a quick snapback. But either way, like this and Ford, they've been pretty good swing trade candidates for a while, so might just kind of continue to look at them that way. SSYS, so 225 is what's expected. First, the 3D names report, been just totally out of play for weeks. I thought this and Triple D were set for a rebound recently, but they kept sliding, so I lost some money there. Earnings wise, I mean, I think it could move, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to reward options. The way I see it, Triple D doesn't report during the week, so if it's going to move, maybe Triple D goes too. So if I do anything with it, it might be a sympathy play on Triple D. After the close on Wednesday, Etsy. So about 21 points is what's priced in here. Didn't react much to Shop, eBay, Amazon. Still kind of chopping around this lower range. It has crushed estimates a few quarters in a row, and e-commerce names are still delivering. So it wouldn't surprise me to see this rally a bit from here. If it's still down here, then it could be a decent earnings trade, but we're gonna have to wait and see. Fastly, so about 8.5 points. What's priced in? Numbers have not been great on this lately. Days of momentum are gone. Stock looks in danger of breaking down. Personally, especially if this quarter isn't strong. So I'm not sure I'm going to play it, but if I did, it would probably be something more bearish oriented. PayPal. So another big name. About 17 points is what they're looking for here. This and Square both report next week actually, but PayPal is the first. Last quarter was solid, but the stock actually had a much bigger reaction than I think what the earnings indicated. So um, that's maybe a little bit more of like a red herring because I feel like it sets up well maybe for a run ahead of time. But if it doesn't run ahead of time, I don't know if I'm going to play it because the option pricing seems kind of high versus what historically moves. Um, so either way, though, I'll probably keep an eye on this and Square too for like post earnings swing trades because these have really been great like day swing trading candidates for a while. They really move a lot, and the moves are usually pretty smooth. So I've been focused on them for like day trades. Rocket, $1.75 is what's priced in. Who knows what the stock is going to do? But I feel like earnings should be pretty solid. I mean, it's been a tough trading name. It's not expensive. Like I mean, like the options aren't expensive. The stock itself, PE wise, is not expensive, and they've consistently delivered. But I mean, it's been kind of choppy the last few weeks, actually the last couple of months. But maybe something speculative. Maybe take a shot on something on the bull side. All right. Oh, gotta refresh. So while I refresh, the next one up, Twilio. So about Twilio here. So about 24 points is what they're looking for. Software action been kind of mixed so far this quarter. Mostly solid numbers. Reaction's been kind of all over the place. Twilio is off its high, but it is off. It is coming off a really big beat last quarter. Um, I, it's a little hard to lay out the money. I mean, unless I see better action in this group, like to me, Twilio is a little bit harder to go after, but we'll see. I mean, it's Wednesday, so if things get better during the week, then maybe I'll look at this one. Uber, so about 2.5 points is what they're looking for. Lyft likely going to move it, so have to wait and see where it's trading on its own day of earnings. But Lyft and Uber both next week, both probably going to be moving around. Thursday before the open, go. So about $1.50 is what they're expecting. Those are monthly options, though. It's been quiet for over a month. Last earnings, not a major event. I know because I played it. Short interest is still elevated, but it's hard to say whether this quarter is going to be like much different than last quarter. Maybe it could be worth a shot for a cheaper volatility strategy, just to see if it kind of resolves this like month-long range. But I'm not sure I'm going to play that one. Moderna, so about 15 points is what they're looking for. So this is why I said it's more interesting because it came all the way back and it's right underneath its all-time high. Um, I don't know if earnings themselves are going to be enough to move the stock for the options to get paid, but it has been moving more lately just on its own, and you may get Novavax data next week because it's been expected to read out soon. So, I mean, that could also provide a pretty big catalyst for a move up or move down. So it is maybe relying more on other names, but it should be a pretty busy week for Moderna. Wayfair. So about 37 points is what's priced in here. They actually missed and guided lower last quarter, but it wouldn't be able to tell based off what the stock did. And I don't think it's going to get treated the same way if they do that again. I mean, right now in this environment, a miss and a guide lower probably would be punished, but it's been kind of choppy. It hasn't been a great trading name, but it has a history of some pretty big moves. So um, maybe look at something like further out of the money, maybe some like low debit strangles, just to see if you do get one of those like 40 to 50 point swings. Maybe on that one. All right, after the close on Thursday, AMC, so about $1.10 or so is what they're looking for. The pricing's not crazy, but these types of Reddit names, I mean, they've quieted down. A 2 point move doesn't seem like a stretch for AMC. It's done it plenty, but I just don't know. Like, or I don't know if earnings are going to be a huge catalyst. So it's like the option pricing is not crazy high, but at the same time, our earnings going to be a big catalyst. So that's basically what you weigh when you're looking at AMC for a trade. Beyond Meat, this one could be interesting. So about 13 points is what's priced in. It really has not been in play for a while. Coming off a mixed, actually more of like a weak quarter, honestly. Seems like a breakdown could be coming. So might look at something on the bear side, but I guess the consolidation is really tight enough where if it resolves higher, it could be a pretty sharp move too. So um, I feel like it seems more bearish, but I mean just based off the pattern, it could be like something to look at for like a volatility strategy. All right, so Cloudflare is pricing in 7. Datadog is pricing in 7.5, and then Frog actually reports 2. But I'd say that Net is probably the most extended of the group. Um, uh, Not a nice run, but I don't know. Earnings trade wise, maybe nothing. I think Datadog, I'd say of those three, is maybe the most interesting because it has a pretty consistent history of moving on earnings. Um, so I feel like this one maybe has the most potential of that little group. The last three earnings moves have all been lower though, so you have to count for that. But the setup isn't as extended this time around, so I feel like it could be a pretty big mover either way. Peloton, about 10 points is what they're looking for here. Um, Hasn't acted well since that treadmill headline came up. Stock looks really in danger of like a serious breakdown to be when you go back. So it got hit on earnings last quarter. Momentum is really not in its favor right now. It had better be exceptional, or this could continue lower. Uh, Option pricing though does seem a little bit high, so I don't know. I'm on the fence with this one. Roku, about 35 points is what they're looking for. Hasn't it's kind of been one of those stocks where it expectations are always high, option pricing is always high, and has a way of not paying options. So it's kind of hard to lay out the money in this environment. It can give some good day after earnings trades though, so I'll probably be on a pretty close watch like the day after earnings for me. Shake Shack, about 9.5 points is what's expected. Last quarter was a dud earnings wise, but it has been in a tighter range. Maybe it could be a mover because there have been some big moves in on earnings in its history. Option pricing though at 9.5, I don't know if they're going to leave a whole lot of room. So I mean, I think anything would revolve around getting risk down. Any option strategy, you'd have to get risk down somewhat. And Square, so like I mentioned before, about 20 points is what's expected. It's been such like a great like day trade, swing trade name, but earnings moves, I feel like they've been less consistent. It's probably going to react to PayPal, so I don't know where it's going to be going into its own report. I really do like trading the stock though, so I might just prefer to look at it for like a trade like right after earnings come out because I mean swing trades, day trades, it's been giving a lot of like opportunities. All right, wrapping things up. Friday morning, Kronos, about 75 cents is what's expected. It's been in a really tight lower range. Cannabis stocks have been out of play for over a month. I don't know if Kronos is going to get them going again, but it's the only name reporting during the week, so it could impact the group. Um, you know, maybe a sympathy play, Tilray, CGC, maybe. I don't know. They haven't really been moving around a lot. And then lastly, Draftkings. So about 5 points is what they're pricing in here. Had a huge beat in February, and another one of those prints could kind of jumpstart momentum again because it's been kind of lagging. Choppy lower range. If it just stays down here throughout the week, maybe that sucks some more premium out of the options too. So, I mean, if the pricing comes down even further, even more so, maybe worth a shot. But it also could be one where it like lines up well for more of like a longer term trade idea. Because if it does turn the corner and start building, I mean, there's been some pretty big price targets from analysts on this just recently. So, something I'll be watching. All right. So busy week, a lot of big names, a lot of big price to moves, and let's hope for some really good action, some good trading action. All right. So if you like this video and you're looking for more information on trading earnings with options, please follow up with the link in the description of the video for more information on options and play. I hope you have a wonderful night. Stay well, and I will talk to you all on Monday.